What is up guys, Greedy Knight here with the breakdown of special investigations for the Pelt monsters. They are Great Izuchi, Great Baggi, Great Wroggi, and by technicality, Kulu Ya-Ku. I'll be going over the best charge blade builds and strategies against these monsters so you can get that badge on your guild card. Let's get into it. Single monster targets with arenas are the ideal quest to tackle any investigation. You get max health, attack, defense, and stamina to turn 1 to 2 hit cards into 2 to 3 hit cards, and you chop harder with the extra attack boost. Dealing with the single monster in a single area lets you spend 0 time chasing down the monster, and you don't have to reenact WWE with 2+ monsters in the queue. Forlorn Area is the best map because it only has a small ledge off to the left. Infernal Springs has the slope to the right that can force a slide and cause certain attacks to miss due to verticality. The arena has a ledge covering the entire top of the map, cancelling combos if you step up the ledge. I recommend just staying towards the center to avoid this, but sometimes the monster is too mobile for its own good. For buddies, use 1 Palamute for paralysis minigun shenanigans and 1 Gathering Palico for the Dragonator and passive materials. You can opt for 2 Palicos for double the minigun damage and paralysis uptime if you are time attacking / speed running. For followers, Hinoa and Izuchi both running with Hunting Horn will be your dream team. You get heals and damage with this pair. If you need extra survivability, replace Izuchi for Minoto. First up is Great Izuchi. Here are his hit zones and the set used to counter him. While you do have the option of using Elembane, you are locked to targeting his head and tail only, so I think it's just better to stick with the default Rampage slot and max power elements. This is to account for his higher mobility and the chance of you chopping something other than his head or tail. Great Izuchi has 3 main interactions I want to go over. First is the swipe into tail slam. Basically he will stab his tail at you, which is the swipe, and then he'll hop back, raise his tail, and then tail slam. Basically you could ignore the swipe at every instance unless you're low on health. That will proc Bloodblight and let you heal up the follow-up tail slam after you use a ready stance to counter. Do note that he can chain these together, so watch for the swipe and then ready stance the tail slam. Next up is the wall cling. He'll just stop whatever he's doing, jump up onto the wall and cling for a few seconds, then follow up with a spinning tail slam. This attack is a single attack, so you could easily swap scrolls, activate counter peek, tank the hit, and recharge on files. His tail will lock into the dirt, giving him end lag, making counter peek one of your best options for this attack. After that, there is the helicopter spin. He will charge at you while spinning like a helicopter. Your only real option is to ready stance because you have to be able to block every attack, but it's a straightforward attack to counter. Lastly is Great Izuchi's charge attack. This is Great Izuchi's get off me option. It tends to do this whenever it's panicking. It has no windup and a very quiet tail, making it one of the hardest attacks to read, and it will pull Izuchi out of your range, forcing you to wire bug over to catch up to it. Great Izuchi can mix up all of these moves and combo them as he likes. Notably, the tail swipe can be mixed up with the wall cling instead of a tail slam, so be wary of which options he chooses. Next up is Great Baggi. For this hunt, you use the Flaming Espinasse set as shown. With both build-up boost and Elembane access, you will deal more damage than Rakna Charge Blade, all things considered equal. The only small adjustment to the set is that you run Sleep Resistance 3 to negate Great Baggi's Chloroform. And for hit zone, you just focus the head for maximum damage. The head has 75 cutting and 40 element, so that will be the highest possible spinning X damage you will see in the game. You run max guard up to protect against the Curio explosion damage, otherwise you can run 0 guard levels if you can confidently pop every Curio pimple. In terms of matchup, there are a few moves to watch out for: the body check, the tail spin, and the charge attacks. The body check is easy to track because it will be preceded most commonly by a sleep powder and then followed up with a windup. Ready stance it to avoid it entirely, or you could just evade as soon as he locks onto you because it has a straight charge. meaning you could just avoid it by going left or right. The tail spin is pretty easy to manage because you could use your double chops to ignore the knockback, but you will still take damage, so you need to have Blood Blight active to ignore this move. Otherwise, actually block the tail swipes with your ready stance. Lastly, the charge or the Yoshi stomp has a bit of wind up, so just use your ready stance to enter that as well. You can use counter peek on all of these moves, but the main spinning axe scroll will be ready stance. Great Wroggi is next. You use the ice spinning axe build along with a poison resistance 3 to negate the poison clouds. But unlike Great Baggi's sleep powder, the poison clouds do damage even if you have Teostra Soul level 3 or Poison Resistance level 3 equipped. Your only options to avoid damage is to use Ready Stance with Guard Up 3 equipped, or use Morphing Advance to reposition away from the cloud. Counter Peek will not keep you safe because the cloud is considered a multi-hit attack, and the default guard does protect you, but you still take more chip damage than with Ready Stance. And it deactivates Spinning Axe. In terms of hit zones, you focus the head, just like the other raptors. Breaking the sack will be your main priority because it shrinks the size of the clouds. However, Great Wroggi will still be able to spew clouds, they'll just be less in scale. In terms of move pool, it shares all of its moves with Great Baggi, but on a faster scale, and it likes to spam body check. Recycle your strategies from Great Baggi and apply them to Great Wroggi, but this time, you respect the poison cloud. Getting hit by both the cloud and the body check will result in a cart. This means you require one wire bug available at all times in case Great Wroggi decides to spew poison and combos body check. One despicable thing that Great Wroggi loves to do is spam cloud into body check multiple times. Regardless of what he does, be ready to ready stance both or one of the body checks. On occasion, he does mix up Poison Cloud into Poison Shot. Great Wroggi's projectiles do not cause blight, and therefore you will not be safe tanking all of his hits. You want Great Wroggi to be hitting you with his body, not his clouds. Great Wroggi is the most annoying special investigation pelt monster to deal with because Great Wroggi jumps back before spewing clouds, then you will have to respect the potential body check afterwards, so you cannot close the distance immediately. This forces you to be patient, cutting into your damage, and forcing you to endure a longer hunt with a monster that spams the same move over and over again. The last hunt is Kulu Ya-Ku. We use the water set. However, you cut Elembane because none of his elemental hit zones hit over 20, so you need to run either the Anti-Species Deco or the Defense Grinder 2 Deco. I recommend the Defense Grinder 2 Deco because you resharpen during the hunt as you tank each hit, allowing you to stay in purple sharpness. Lastly, I recommend equipping Stun Resistance 3 to negate concussions and the stun status effect. In terms of hit zones, focus on the head and whatever item Kulu Ya-Ku ends up holding. The pot will be the better hit zone, whereas the rock will be worse, but you still need to break it anyways. There's a fun little mechanic with Kulu Ya-Ku that whenever you break his item, he will enter an exhausted state. If he's afflicted, however, he will immediately recover, so focus on the item whenever he's knocked out of affliction. For his move pool, he has a lot of multi-hitting attacks, so counter peek in general is not safe. The double swipe, the Yoshi stomp, the multiple pecks, and rock onslaughts do not provide enough time to safely counter peek without getting punished for it afterwards. Kulu Ya-Ku is a very combo-y monster, so it will attack you, give a pause, then attack again, so be mindful of this play style. Whenever it's holding its pot, it will sometimes stare you down, so just go for the double chop if you have Intrepid Heart, otherwise just be patient with your ready stance. Lastly, he will do what I call the boulder charge. Basically, this is a multi-attack move, so after he rushes behind your ready stance, target onto him, and then you will 360 the camera and be able to ready stance his second attack. Like if this video was useful to you, consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. Comment down below anything I missed or anything you want to talk about. That's all I got for this one. Greedy Knight, signing out.